Good morning, sweet friends. This is Gina. Welcome to the Rebookery channel. Do you remember these fashion plates? As a kid, there were just a few toys that I had growing up that I just can never, ever, ever get out of my head. And fashion plates is one of them. And I've always kind of been on the hunt for them, but yet I don't want to go on eBay and spend lots of money. I've just always thought, okay, if I ever come across fashion plates, I will snatch them up. So a couple of weeks ago at one of my favorite thrift stores, found 2 packages of fashion plates, 2 of them. It was half price day, so $2.99, and I got 2 of them. So I basically spent $1.50, and yeah, I can't even speak. Like, there are no words. I'm so excited. So they were both in package, both in the box. The boxes were kind of smashed up a little bit. One of them I gave to my good friend that I teach with, and her kids have actually been playing with them. And then the other one I've held on to for me. So I'm going to make a journal spread today. About fashion plates. So yeah, fashion plates were in, it was 1976 or 1978 by the Tommy Corporation, and I got it for Christmas, and yeah, it was one of the best Christmases ever. So these fashion plates have actually been used. So I have lots of little artworks that the previous owner used and did, so I'm going to hang on to those. They actually had some of the original paper was still in there, and one of the best parts was, let me get all this other stuff off of here. One of the best parts was all of the plates were still there, all of them in both sets. So I was able to give my friend a complete set, and then I still had a complete set. So if you're not familiar with fashion plates, it literally was plates that had fashion on it. And so you would take your plates, like this was one of my favorites, put it in, put in a top, put in a bottom, put in a person's head. It's a little wonky here. And then you would put your paper in. I'll take a piece of paper. This paper is old. Like I said, it's a little wonky, so I don't know if this is going to work very well. And then here was the cool part. So there was this, it came with these, well, it came with pencils, colored pencils, which this set was complete. I don't even think this, like one of the sets I don't think was used at all. So it might have been this set right here. And then there was some other fashion plates right there. So you have this little black kind of crayon thing, and you put it in here, and then you pull down, and it would make the image. Basically, it's just like a colored pencil or a crayon engraving type thing. But anyway, it was always so cool to watch them in the commercials because they would just swipe down and it would be perfect. Of course, like what I just did, it actually took a little more effort than that. And then you would flip them over, and there was different texture, like this one's flowers. So you would flip them over and you'd have different textures, and you could go back, and now you could, oh my gosh, we'll see if these pencils even work. Now you can, oh, it actually looks like they did use them a little bit. You would go and color in, and it would come up, sorry, no, it's loud. It would come up whatever texture. So I'm not doing a very good job here, but you get the general idea. And yeah, ooh, that actually turned out pretty good. And so I spent lots of time making fashion plates when I was little. I loved fashion plates. Oh my gosh, they were the best. Look at this outfit I'm making her have. Like pink, purple, turquoise, red. What? I don't even know. I don't even know why I'm doing that. That's just crazy. Anyway, ooh, let's give her some brown boots too. And we'll make those textured as well. Yeah, so anyway, fashion plates. Love them. Love them, love them, love them. And yeah, I didn't have to find them on eBay. I just found them on a thrift store, or at a thrift store. And what I think was probably somebody got 2 sets of these and just never played with them, and then they were in the attic, and then family was probably cleaning the house and getting rid of a bunch of stuff, and kids are all grown and gone, and they probably just picked up both of these sets that were barely used, and they got sent to a thrift store, and so now they have new homes. One's with me and one's with my friend. So today I'm going to journal about my love of fashion plates, and I'm going to do a bit of reminiscing about when I was a kid and how I loved my fashion plates. So I went upstairs in my big box of photos and wanted to find a picture that I could use that would go with this journal spread. And I found this picture. So this is me, 3rd grade, 9 years old, and perfect picture. I had forgotten all about this picture, but you could not have picked a better picture for this spread that I'm going to do. It was magic. It just worked out. So in this picture, I was in a fashion show where local sewers and seamstresses were putting together, they were making outfits, and then the school that I was going to at this time was putting on this little fashion show, and they were raising money for charity. So this was a dress that a lady sewed for me, and I loved it, loved it, loved it because it was blue, and blue was my absolute favorite color back then. And I don't know if you can tell, but my hair was feathered. Oh, yes. And I had just gotten my hair cut. My hair was really long, and then my parents cut my hair off, and I don't know, I looked like a boy, but whatever. So my hair was feathered, and then I had long socks. Oh my gosh, best thing ever. And I probably had on brown loafers too, which would have just made this ensemble even better. But this picture is perfect, and I'm going to use it because this was probably around the time that I was doing my fashion plates. And then I'm going to pull in some fabric that I have from my epic estate sale haul that I went to yesterday. And I literally have no room in this room because I've got to get through all of this fabric, and I've got to get it washed and cut and all kinds of good stuff. Anyway, so I just grabbed a couple of things that I thought would work. So this, actually, I didn't realize it was a circle until I just now pulled it out. This would work because it's going to work with the colors. This was something that I would have loved back then. It's old, I can tell, and it doesn't smell the best. But it reminds me of my curtains when I was this age, because it's this polka dot and it's orange. And then this piece of fabric, which is a newer piece of fabric that I got yesterday, at a quilt, a lady who quilted. So she was a quilter. They had an estate sale at her house, and oh my gosh, people, you do not understand the magic that happened at this estate sale. Anyway, I'll tell you about that in just a second. But so this piece of fabric that is laying on my mountain of fabric behind me on the table caught my eye because this reminds me of my dress, and I think that will work perfect with it. So these things I want to use, and then I think I want to use some of these fashion plates. Now, here's the thing with fashion plates. There were ones I loved, and there were ones I couldn't stand. This was one I couldn't stand. Why in the 70s did everybody have to be a tennis player? I don't get it. I did not understand. I never used this fashion plate. I couldn't stand it. I was like, just bothered me. I didn't play tennis, and I felt like her skirt was too short, and I don't know. I didn't like her short hair, and yeah. I just didn't like that one. Did not understand why they had to be tennis players. And it's funny because when I gave it to my friend, and we were going through and looking at the plates, she said the exact same thing. She goes, I hated the tennis player one. I was like, yeah, I know, me too. So, ooh, those are actually cute too. I may use those. Ooh, whoever did this did a really nice job. Okay, so I'm gonna use, or this one, because this one was always my favorite. Okay, so I'm gonna use some fashion plates. And then I think I'm gonna journal in my little journal. So let me get this out. And believe it or not, this thing is getting full. I figured when I got into this journal that it would be like, I would never finish this journal up, but it's actually getting pretty full. I've got so much stuff in here, and yeah, I may finish this journal up this summer. I may have to start a new little journal, and that makes me sad because I loved this one. Okay, so let's make sure I'm in frame. So I also grabbed some paints and a little bit of washi tape, and I grabbed this washi tape because, again, it was the blue, and I just remember being obsessed with blue back then. So this was like back in the 70s and 80s, this was my absolute favorite color of blue. This was my favorite. And when I would get the Crayola box of crayons, if I was lucky enough to get the 24, because I never got the 64, but if I was lucky enough that my mom would spring for the 24 pack, oh my gosh, that one that was green blue or blue green, oh, that was always my favorite. Loved that crayon. Oh yeah, this was totally my jam back in the 70s, this color. Anything that had this color on it, I was in love with. Now, I'm, again, as normal, I don't have a plan. I just know I want to use that picture, and I want to somehow use some fashion plates. And I'm just totally slapping paint down here. I don't even know if I'm going to like this. I just knew I didn't want that white background. So I feel like I need to lighten this up a bit, and I am not prepared. I don't have a rag or any water, so yeah, this can be really messy. Throw some yellow on there, turn it into some green. So this estate sale that my husband and I went to yesterday, ooh, that's actually pretty. It was sunny yesterday, very, very cold, but it was sunny. It was the first day we've had sun in a very long time. So my original plans were to stay home and just do stuff around the house, but when the sun was out, I was like, oh, we gotta go. So I had 4 estate sales lined up that were close to where we live, and I had kind of made a little itinerary. So this estate sale we went to was in Kansas, just across the way here in Kansas, and she was a quilter. And usually I don't buy quilts at estate sales just because they're usually pretty expensive, and I don't know, I don't know, I've never really been one to buy. And plus, I just have so many at home. I just have so many of ones left over from my grandma. But I was in there and I was searching for sheets, because that's my new obsession. And I am knee deep in a bunch of sheets that she has, which she has some really good ones. And my husband comes in and he says 2 questions. He says, 1, have you been to the basement? And 2, did you see the quilt hanging on the door? So no, I hadn't been to the basement, and so I was all excited. And I mean, I couldn't even, this was one of those estate sales where people were everywhere, and they were just like pushing people out of the way, and I mean, it was just crazy. Sewers from all over had come because they wanted to get in on some of this goodness that she had. So I go over and I look at this quilt hanging on the door, and it is gorgeous. Like it's beyond any quilt that I've ever seen at an estate sale. And it was $100, and I was just kind of in the mode of, man, this is stuck. I was kind of in the mode of, I just wanted to go and see what kind of fabric she had. So I didn't really pay much attention. Anyway, I go down to the basement. This woman was a master quilter. I'm pretty sure she had a long arm quilting machine, because her basement, the way it was set up, it was just, you could just, I mean, the lighting was perfect. The room was perfect. The storage was perfect. It was It was a dream. It was a dream. Okay, so I get down to the basement and I am just like, I don't even know where to go, because I'm not kidding you. Like, people were walking out with boxes of feed sacks and fabric and quilt tops. And I was like, oh my God, where are they getting this stuff from? So I'm like frantically searching the basement, trying to figure out where all this stuff is coming from. How do I get this stuff? Oh my gosh, I'm missing out, you know, all this crazy things that going through my head. And I round the corner and there it was. It was an entire wall of boxes of fabric. And so what her family did was they kind of just color coordinated fabric and they mixed it all together. So quilt tops, feed sacks, vintage fabric, new fabric, old fabric, upholstery fabric, just any kind of fabric you could think of. Quilt fabric, cotton fabric, all just, yeah, it was just all mushed together. So they have it in these boxes, and you just literally grab a box and you're gonna go pay for it. And each box was a set price. And then they had bags that were a little bit smaller than the boxes, but basically they were the same way. So I am just grabbing left and right. Me and all these little women, we are just grabbing these boxes left and right. And the poor men, and I'm not being sexist here, but this is how it was. The poor men were just standing there, and they were just, every time their wife would grab something, they would just, you know, hold on to it, as my husband was doing. So I get all these boxes and fabric, and I'm just like, I can't even look at it because I'm just, there's so much good stuff there. So I grab everything, I go up, I pay. My husband and I were walking out, and it is 35 degrees, but we're sweating because our arms are so full and we had to park a million miles away. So we finally get to the car, we dump off our supplies, and he goes, so what about that quilt? And I was like, you know, I love that quilt, and I've got all her fabric. I feel like I need that quilt. And I said, let's go back and look at it, because we didn't even get upstairs. And I said, let's go back and look at it, and then let's check out what's upstairs. So we dropped off our stuff, we go back. First thing we did was we walked over and we picked up the quilt. And I'm glad I did, because people were standing around it, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it would have gotten snatched up. So we grabbed the quilt and proceeded to go back through and look at all the other stuff. I was able to grab, oh my gosh, some really cool cookbooks. Hang on, I'll show you. So this woman, I swear, this woman, she's me. She must be me, what I'm gonna be like in 20 or 30 years. But so she had tons of cookbooks, and these cookbooks were binder books, but this sweet little creative woman, she covered them with fabric. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And so this is, I'm sure, an old Betty Crocker, but Better Homes and Gardens, but she covered it with fabric. And so I snatched that up immediately. And I don't know, I'm not taking the fabric off. I'm leaving it on, because she did it, and it's gorgeous, and it's worn, and I love it. So she did the same thing with this one, and this one has some notebook paper and stuff in it. So love that. And then for this, she had some contact paper, and I think, oh, here it is. So I pulled the contact paper off. She hadn't glued it all the way on. It was just only here at the edges. So I was able to save some of the contact paper, but this is one of my favorite cookbooks. I love these. I've had a couple of these in my shop before that I've rebooked, and I know one I did was green, and I think I've done another, I think I'd done a red one before too. But anyway, so she had those, and I love, love, love those. So I grabbed those. So I was excited with my purchase, and we get to the car, and I'm just like, I can't even think, because I'm so excited about the fabric that I got. I'm so excited about, I know there was tons of feed sacks in this fabric and quilt tops and stuff. And so I'm just my head is just spinning. And my husband's like, oh my gosh, she wrote on the back of the quilt. And sure enough, her name is on the back of the quilt down in the corner. So a lot of quilt makers will put a quilt label on their quilt that says when it was made and who made it and what the name of the quilt was. Well, she just took a marker and she wrote her name on it, and she had made the quilt in 1984. And oh my gosh, I'm just like, yeah, it just brought tears to my eyes. All right, so I'm just gonna use some glue stick here. I don't know how well it will stick, and I'm okay with that because I will probably go back and maybe do some hand stitching or something on it. I was just kind of, I don't really like that edge here, so, and I'm just playing, again, I know I say this all the time, but I really don't have a plan. I'm just playing around, putting down things that I like, and if they work, awesome. If they don't, no big deal. I think, I don't know, I almost feel like if I put it there, it's going to compete, so maybe I'll put it somewhere over here. Now, this is a trick that I did not come up with this, but this is a trick that I've seen journalers do a lot, and sometimes they'll do it with washi tape down the center. Sometimes I've done it with paper and stuff down the center, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue some fabric down the center. And the reason why is because it secures this a little bit more, and since I've made this heavy now with tape and I'm adding a lot of stuff to it, I just feel like, and because this book is so big, I just feel like I'm going to add a little extra layer to secure this binding and keep my pages nice and tight. And so I'm just going to use glue. Now this time I am going to use liquid glue. Okay. So get this in here. Okay, so now I'm going to add this little button card, and usually I like to make little pockets out of these, but I don't think I'm going to do that this time. And I'm just going to set it like right here. And again, I'm using the blue. That was my jam back in the 70s, was just blue. I could not stop using blue. Okay, so I like this over here, and let's see about maybe bringing in another couple of fashion plates over here. Ooh, the problem is that one's wearing the same as that, and I want to try to get different fashion plates. So let me see if I can find another one. Hopefully one that I like. Go. There's some of that contact paper. Ooh, I kind of like that. Ooh, I kind of really like that. So I'm going all the way to the edge of this fabric here just to give it a little more strength, since I have so many different layers and stuff going on here. I could use this, but now that I found out it's a circle, I don't know that I want to do that. So let me dig around, see what kind of fabric I can. So this is one of the bags that I thought I had gone through all the bags, but I didn't. So this is one of the bags from my little lady yesterday, my little quilt lady. This is one of her scraps. So I'm going to try to find something that'll go here. Whoops, I'm dropping stuff. All right. Now, I like that. Ooh, that's kind of cute. But again, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for something to frame the photo. Oh man, that's kind of cool. Kind of like that. Kind of like that. I told my husband as we were walking out to the car, the second time we left that sale, I said, why do I feel like that's gonna be my stuff 20 years from now, and the kids will have just thrown it all in a box and slapped a dollar amount on it, and people will just be carting it off. And I kind of laugh, but that is true. That is That is probably how it's going to go down. But you know what? I'm okay with it because then it gives somebody else joy. Like the happiness that I got yesterday and the happiness that all of those people, all of those women, and even there was some men that were walking out of there with some big old smiles on their faces. If it makes somebody else happy to get my stuff when I'm long gone and they can turn it into something new and make other people's lives happy with the stuff they create, then you know what? I'm a-okay with that. I'll be fine with it. Makes me sad, but you know what? That's the way life is. That's the way it goes. And you can't take your stuff with you. Stuff is stuff. Can't take your stuff with you, so I'd rather it go to somebody who enjoys it. I mean, this little lady that I got this stuff from, Helen, her name is Helen, because that's the name she wrote on the back of the quilt. Helen probably never knew that her scraps of fabric were going to be used in a journal. She probably never knew that. So, Helen, if you're watching, I hope you're happy that I'm finding some new uses for your beautiful fabric scraps. Okay, so I'm liking this. I feel like, first of all, I really like that because that's my mom's handwriting. I'm gonna make a fold out little foldy thingy here. Okay, so how am I gonna do this? I think what I'm gonna use is, I'm gonna go washi tape and then washi tape to paper and then sew the paper to the fabric and glue the fabric to the page. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. We'll see how that works out. Okay, so we'll go washi tape here. Now I need a piece of paper. Just digging in my stash that I got here. This to this. Okay, and then, yeah, I think I'm gonna go. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do on this. Look at that, see all of that? That is just a hot mess. So I'm gonna take, and I'm gonna use my Scotch tape runner. I have, if my fabric is lightweight enough, I have good results using my Scotch tape runner to put fabric down. And the reason why I'm doing that is because with this contact paper, this has got some vinyl. So my glue probably is not going to adhere like I want it to, just with this being vinyl, and it might pop off. But with this being a tape runner, it's gooier, and therefore I'm gonna get good stick because it doesn't dry out. It stays nice and gooey. And that's what I want on this contact paper, is for it to stay nice and gooey. All right. Okay. People who sell stuff on eBay and stuff, this is probably going to flip your wigs, but I'm going to use the box. I know, and the thing is that I could sell this, but I don't know. I don't really want to, and the box is really damaged anyway, so yeah. And just, oh my God, that little girl looks like me. So yeah, I'm using the box. And then, because I want to remove some of the bulk, I'm going to try to peel the back off. Well, you remember those yarn hair ribbons? Oh, yeah, I had those. Oh boy, did I have those before my parents cut my hair off. Maybe I told them I wanted my haircut. I don't know. I know I got the Dorothy Hamill haircut. Oh my gosh, that was the big thing, the Dorothy Hamill haircut. And I hated it. After I got it, I hated it. It was too short. I looked like a boy. Okay, we're gonna put that right there. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. Yes, yes. And I could put a little something here for that. Love it. Fashion plates. All right, so now all I need is my journaling, and I feel like maybe I'm gonna do some pen work and maybe do some playing around with paints and stuff. I'll pull out some stickers, see if I have any stickers that remind me of, ooh, I love these stickers. I know I've used them before, but oh my gosh, I love them. They are totally 80s. Oh. And I loved anything rainbow. I'm gonna pull that out. Maybe this, maybe this. Okay, let me see what I got going on here. And then I've got to put some journaling on here somewhere because I know there's stuff I want to write about. Okay. First of all, yeah, because you got to have fox. I'm going to put that down there. And best looking. Oh man, these are so old. We're gonna put best looking. Let's put it over here because she was my favorite. That was my favorite hair. I don't know that I'm gonna use prepped out because that was a little before my preppy time. But I will use cute. Let's put cute. Let's put cute right there. All right, let's hope this sticks. Put it right there. So if I put it right there, then it kind of makes these two pieces now come together, which is always good to try to make things blend together. Okay, so we got a little bit of a triangle. Almost feel like I need something right there. I like this. And make it go, I'm gonna make it go all the way up to the top there. Put a little extra glued there. Okay, so I kind of finished up here a little bit. I had to do some stuff off camera. It is hard for me to do like pen work and stuff when I have the camera going. You can see I have paint all over me. So let me just show you what I did. I found some other stickers that I wanted to use. These were 1981 current stickers, and perfect because the whole rainbow thing, 1981, this was all around that time period. I did journaling because these were basically two separate things. So it was my love of fashion plates and how I found them again, and then it was a little story about this picture right here. So this was my journaling that went with this picture right here. I found this sticker that said I'm a neat kid, and I thought that was very fitting because that was something that I probably didn't, I don't know, I just didn't think I was a very neat kid back then. So I put that sticker there. And then I did journaling about the fashion plates, just kind of wrote down my thoughts. It was just kind of how I remembered fashion plates when I was a little kid. I just wrote some little captions over here, like how much I loved this one's hair, and then how I found the fashion plates again at the thrift store. Then I took my paint pen and just went around and did some circles and stuff. I always find that when I have something that's scattered like this journal spread, if I have some sort of cohesive paint or pin work that it kind of will bring it all together. So I did that. I went over them with just a Prismacolor colored pencil and just kind of outlined them. And then I took this paint pen, went in and did like some little polka dots. And then this pen just went and kind of outlined those. Nothing major. Just added some little details. And yeah, just kind of go back and add. And I might play around with this a little bit more. And then just added a few more stickers on there. Took this pen right here, which is one of those China markers, and I just went over it with the picture went over the picture with it. And so yeah, and then I added just a little bit of, it was a scrap of this fabric right here. I added that right there. So yeah, I'm done, and I like it, and yeah, it seems to work pretty well in my journal. So thank you for hanging out with me today, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I hope you're happy, I hope you're healthy, and I hope you do something creative. Bye.